Greetings, stowaways. This episode comes with a content warning for grief. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the treacherous waters of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Jason Phelps, and I am joined, as ever, by Robbie Howdy Doody Bellekom.
Howdy doody.
Sam Yankee Doodle Dandy Burns.
Yeah.
And Ellie Cockadoodle Doo Sparrow.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if you would.
I really tried to improv something and it just like 4 different sentences collided in my brain and that's what came out. So it's clearly a really good day to do an entirely improv podcast.
It's episode 181. For the numerologists out there, what's significant about that number?
Please tell us.
Answers on a postcard. And then
Send
presumably...
your postcard
Like mail
out
to
into
our
the
PO
void.
box.
I was going to say at this point...
No, mail them to a random address with no explanation.
That's much more fun. Do that.
I was thinking answer on a postcard and then snap a picture of the postcard and put it on social media.
Nope. Send it to random addresses.
And then send the original card into the future where we demand, future us, what postcards from the present? It's Future Jason with messages from the present. This episode of Flintlocks and Fireballs is brought to you by you. As ever, a massive thanks to our crew members on the Flintlocks Patreon who help keep this ship sailing. There's a wealth of extra content and bonus features for patrons, including regular blog posts, extra stories narrated by the cast, artwork, and a monthly poll for the community to help design an element to go into the game. You can check it out at patreon.com/Flintlocks and Fireballs, link in the description. And that's it for announcements this time. Back to you, Past Jason. When was the last time we received a postcard? I think it was from you, Bobs.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing I do.
Robbie used to write us really good postcards sometimes. They'd write it like they were in Pride and Prejudice. Like, you used to do it when you were on tour with Awful Auntie. You'd be like, forsooth, today I walked along the promenade. It was... And you'd genuinely be telling us, what you'd actually done in the last couple of weeks. But we'd have to, decode it from, the bollocks that you'd written. It was really good. It was the best friend thing.
I mean, we
Do that again.
You should.
If I ever
It was,
had time.
it was
I don't have
enormous
time
fun.
to buy postcards in these towns I'm visiting. I'm there for 5 hours and then I drive to the next one.
To be fair, that year was that tour was like a year, so different thing. Continue.
Because Robbie at the moment is currently doing a different puppetry tour. We're allowed to talk about what it is, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. For
It's like publicly advertised.
yeah, it's publicly
at this
advertised.
point. Yeah.
For the hit children's show Sarah and Duck, in which Robbie's playing neither Sarah nor Duck.
Robbie, give us a plot summary. It's
I'm
really
briefly
weird.
Duck. I am Duck when Duck gets shot out the cannon.
You are briefly Duck, but mostly Moon.
Yes.
I am the moon and some shallots and a hot air balloon
Oh,
and
Aw.
a flamingo and a child called John
John,
I've seen it. It's wonderful.
and a creepy ribbon sister. And
Yes.
so many weird
One
things.
half of it.
why?
But they don't have eyes behind those glasses.
What I love is the fact that John is the most oddly named character,
yeah.
Yeah.
by reference to all the other characters.
But if it was just Sarah, weirdly that wouldn't be weird. If it was just the main character that has a normal name, it's very like Christopher Robin. That feels okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's also John,
John.
for no reason.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Speaking in no way whatsoever of John, it's time to begin. Flintlocks and Fireballs. And John.
And John.
Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains brother, no one's free.
A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Oh, John stands on the side.
Oh, John is on a powder keg.
Get him off.
Out of a cannon now,
If
he's
only.
free.
He's really heavy.
John's life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your
Gather
Johns.
your
No. Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs.
Can you tell we started late today?
Previously, the party continues their way through the Cirrus Citadel, having most recently made it to through the trials of Oceanos, the sorcerer of the sea. Surprise, surprise, given that name. Better known to the party by their most famous incarnation, Petroleon, the sorcerer king who pretty much unified most of the continent of Jova. Upon travelling through a series of tempestuous islands amidst a stormy sea, the party reached the eye of the storm, at the centre of which was, amidst the ice and just eternally blowing snowstorm, a tall stone tower of ancient make. And the Cairney's sounding helmsman, halfling helmsman, transformed in appearance into that of Petroleon. Which is pretty much what happens. Petroleon leads you into the tower, where, to your great relief, there are a number of comforts of which you may partake, including including some tables of fruit and vegetables, some cuts of dried meat, warming stews.
It's really good.
And of particular note, in addition to the comfortable-looking beds layered over with furs, there are also a series of what appear to be baths built into the base of the tower, with, judging from the slightly eggy smell, natural hot springs, providing gently bubbling warm water.
I just turned to Petroleon for a second. So I know we've only just met, but I love you with my entire heart.
That's not an uncommon reaction on seeing the baths.
I'm so tired.
It's been longer than I care to remember since we found a bath like this.
Beds that look this good, to be honest.
Take your time, rest. There's a little magic woven into it. You'll recover faster than you otherwise might, but you're still gonna need to sleep this off. And just take some time.
Don't worry, I'm an expert at that.
Kind of at the point of tired where I feel like either I'm going to cry or throw up if I don't go to bed soon. So, yeah, thanks. Thank you.
The beds are there. There's food and drink. There's the baths. If anyone... And I'll take a little time over this coming day or so, when you've got the energy, to grant you the boon I promised.
Oh, shit, that's a thing.
teach you how to project a memory of those now lost to you. Or potentially a memory of several of those now lost to you. We'll talk individually with each of you and figure out the best way. When you're rested and ready to go, he gestures, and you can see behind some sort of steel grey curtains there is the hint of one of those, one of the golden archways that you've come to associate with travel between the different wings of the Cirrus Citadel. You'll be free to pass onwards through there.
Corzin is already face planted into one of the beds and is snoring.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you to, like, repeat all of that later. Like, just bags. Just, like, bags and unfocused.
Beds are right there.
Beds. Yeah.
If I try to sleep in the bath, will I drown? And do I mind?
Well, the answer to that is no, because you
Water breathing.
consistently cast water breathing on yourself every single morning.
God, you can non-dangerously
I'm gonna
fall
sleep
asleep in
in
the bath. Yes,
I'm
do that.
100% sleeping in that bath.
Oh, why have we never considered this as a use for water breathing? That's amazing.
Yeah, you are actually unable to drown in the bath, provided you're not asleep there for more than the, like, maybe 12 hours since you last cast it.
God, I would do that all the time if I had this spell.
Yeah.
Just sleep
You're
in
going to
the
be
bath
so
because you
fruity
could.
when you wake up.
Oh.
And crash you do. Each of you sort of passes out in quick order. I think the last of you to go down might be Scamp, because as you pull the privacy curtain around the different sections around the bath to get changed and dip into it.
Oh,
I'm getting in fully dressed.
Okay, as you pull the privacy curtain around to just get some damn sleep in the bath, you see you catch sight of Victory sort of touching Petroleon's arm, and the pair of them stepping out of the tower to talk a little while. By the time you wake, Victory appears to... you see Victory has her clothes sort of folded up neatly beside one of the beds, and is just passed out cold in the under the covers. I'm going to say that because of the magically assisted renewing nature of this sorcerer's spa, for want of a better term, it does.
There is no better term.
Yeah, it does take a. You're not done in one long rest, but within 24 hours.
Oh.
You
That's
have
nice.
recovered all 5 in Corzin's case.
Oh, it's like
Levels
spas
of
in The Sims.
exhaustion. Yeah,
Yeah.
it works like the spa in The Sims.
It's like really extra good.
And you don't know how much of it is the magic and how much of it is just the exhaustion and like being compared against your needs being met. But it's some of the best sleep you've ever had. It's completely dreamless.
My God, incredible.
But you wake up
Even
feeling
better.
utterly like not utterly rested, but like you feel like you've slept for 3 days straight.
Got a real
Truly,
dumb
this
image
is a
that I want to
fantasy
share.
game.
Because Celestia usually gets a little bit pissed before she goes to sleep because terrible things. Like starts to try and just ends up falling asleep, like spooning an unopened bottle of whiskey, like wine mum style.
But yeah, when you wake, there is, as far as you can tell, Petrolaon has just made this for you himself, and says it doesn't really comment on it, but like gives no indication that he hasn't. There is hot spiced porridge with fruit, with like fruits and cinnamon and things, and like literally just curls of cinnamon in it. There are choices. There is tea. There is there is a sort of some warming. There are some kegs of alcohol on tap. There is indeed, although he himself does not seem to have coffee, he's more than happy to prepare some of your coffee if you want it.
Oh yes, 100%.
And the food is rich, filling, and nutritious, and it seems to warm your bones from the inside. And from the outside, the roaring logs on the fire seem to heat up the interior of this tower. Honestly, really far more than a tower like this should be warmed by what is essentially an open hearth fire. Especially given the continual storm that seems to just cut off in solid walls a good couple of 100 feet away.
Such a good power though, to just make a fire just always really good.
Yeah.
What a wonderful thing.
Over the course of the 24 hours, Petrolaon takes each of you aside and teaches you how to shape your magic. It's partly instruction and partly you have a strange sense that he is doing something that is slightly shifting or shaping your nature to allow you to do this. So you gain the ability to cast the spell. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take up any additional slots. This is it uses up your slots to cast, but basically you don't have. For those of you who have a limited number of memorized spells, this does not take up one of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. During this time, you also have the opportunity to talk to him and ask him any questions. So I will kind of ask who wants to go first with alone time with the sea sorcerer.
I'll go first.
Okay. So while while Celestia is still sort of nursing her coffee and her booze potentially.
Oh yeah, always.
Petrolaon sort of taps you, companionably pops a hand on your shoulder. Do you care to take a stroll with me?
Yeah, I think now that I've actually had some opportunity to rest, I'm up for taking a stroll to the grounds. Also, that is the best Kearney's porridge I've ever had.
Thank you. I'd be surprised if they... I don't know if I'd be surprised, but I'd hope that they still have the recipe today. What year is it?
1798.
Oof. Yeah, we're pushing a millennium.
Well, there are some things that, if they're not broke, you don't fix them.
Not to be... He starts leading you outside, boots crunching on the snow as you step out. Not to be... not to come across too conceited, but still remember me out there?
Oh, Petrolaon, yes. Yes, you're definitely a big feature of the history books.
You can call me Peter. or Pete, whichever you prefer. I used to be... Back in the day, I was just Peter of Stone. Stone still exists in Kernel, right? That's not gone. That's still, the city's still there, right?
Can I roll to see if Corzin has visited it?
Yes,
is it on the coast? Okay. It's been so long since I've been able to do this. Okay. That's a 12.
It's not on the coast. It's a little inland, but you have taken the opportunity. But after stopping at Monraven once, you did actually journey a little inland just to have visited the capital.
Okay.
So yes, you've been there. It's different. It's different to. It's no doubt bigger and changed from how it was in Petrolian's time, but the castle he built is still there. It's been expanded a few times since, but the old original sort of eighth century. Yeah, 7th, 8th century. No, Petrolian, I think I said, is the 600s. So yeah, the original 7th century stone keep is still there.
Yeah, still where you left it, although probably a couple of additions since then.
I should bloody well hope so.
Well, I remember thinking at the time, I can absolutely see that, halfway up the hill, most people are going to be around, oh, fuck it, they're going to run out of haggis sooner or later.
Sounds like, from the accents shift and change. It's kind of hard to tell these days which part of the. But I'm guessing you're a coastal lad. Lad. Which part of the continent you grew up in?
Wending.
Ah, I know where that would be now. Aye.
Did it have a different name back in your day?
It was just Went, and it was much smaller.
I heard that. Yeah, that makes sense. I hadn't put the two together, to be honest, but I'd seen that on a couple of the old municipal buildings.
No, I remember I got a bit of an update. Must be a couple of 100 years back. Last time one of me came through. Just where things were nowadays, broad shape of things. It's nice to hear. It's nice to keep a sort of eye on what it's like, as it were.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how often do you have people come by looking for you?
Oh, not that common. Not that often. I mean, here's the thing. Usually, the Citadel's kind of built so that only sorcerers can generally find it, and usually we tend to come in alone, occasionally with boon companions like yourself.
Right.
Once or twice, there's been a couple of idiots who've tried to come in with armies, and that doesn't usually go too well for them.
I can imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of these trials that you'll have gone through that'll have taken it a lot. Frankly, taking it easy on you because there's less than 10 of you.
Oh, so you're saying that the things that you have to do to get through all of this scales with how many there are of you?
No, it's just more like if it looks like there's a bunch of hangers-on, as I recall from arriving here the first time, you're politely asked to leave them be when you first come in, and if you don't, then there's some very strong incentives for them to turn the fuck back. on account
Right.
of we don't generally on account of it's not unusual for kings and empresses and the like to try and put collars on us, as it were.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've heard about that.
So
That actually brings me on to something else I was going to ask you. When you were out there in the world, how many other sorcerers did you encounter? Any?
Well, that's a topic, isn't it?
Because it seems like a complete toss-up whether two sorcerers would ever find each other, although seemingly there's better than even odds.
Well, that's an interesting one. He walks you. He's kind of been like tracing your little passage out across the seemingly open snow until he comes across what appear to be a series of rocks gathered around, like at a good, comfortable sitting height for halflings, gathered round an old campfire. You see him kind of pick up and kick some ice and snow off some logs, and then snap his fingers at them, and they quickly crackle into flame. Takes a seat with you. Takes a seat and gestures for you to do the same.
I do so. I join him.
If you live long enough as a sorcerer, your powers tend to sort of come into their own. And especially if you're not one of the ones that takes naturally to hiding, or if, like me, you tend to kick up a bit of a fuss, it naturally calls attention to you.
Right, I think I see what you mean.
At that point, if you're someone else who's grown up with these powers, well, that makes it a lot... you're going to hear about someone like you, and curiosity takes over at that point. Plus...
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's certain contingencies we've tended to leave for ourselves to guide us here. And some of those are set in place to make us more likely to come to certain places and locations. And then we leave each other more instructions from there.
Like breadcrumbs?
Aye, breadcrumbs. Oh,
right.
Legion's tits. Is that still a story? The whole breadcrumbs and the forest thing?
Oh, yeah. One of my son's favourites.
Well, yeah. Just out of curiosity, you, thinking of that particular story, he gestures, and you see the sort of snow flurry up for a corner around one of the seats, and as it passes, there is a huge hunched figure with wrinkled dark purple skin, and garbed in old shawls. Hello there. Right, you haven't, you don't know if that one's still knocking around, do you?
Thankfully, she's not. At least to the best of our knowledge.
What a shame. Okay, that's enough of you. He gestures and a flurry of snow passes in front of the figure, and when it fades, the figure is when it passes, the figure, the image of grandmother finger snap is gone. Like you say, breadcrumbs.
Stubborn as barnacles, that lot.
Aye. Well, she was one of the ones that I had the questionable fortune of encountering during my time.
I'm very sorry.
We had occasion to do business, mutual enemies and the like, but I can't say I trusted that one, and I think that was the wise call all around.
That was very, very sensible of you.
Aye, well, to answer your question, I know that different ones of me have met different ones of some of the others in their life. In later lives as well. Apparently, when one of the last times he passed through, it sounds like the Reaper knew a version of me. Though I can't see that as Petrolaeon gestures to himself. As me, I knew him.
Right. Oh, this could get very complicated very quickly, can't it?
After my time, as it were.
I see.
But I've known a few. I think I've probably... I suspect I've fought against at least two of them when I was me, before I came here. Though I never met either of them face to face. There's one that likes to play with people's minds. Keep a weather eye out for that one.
Yeah. We've already thankfully been through that bit of the Citadel.
Good. Well, I think he was behind an insurrection that I ended up fighting for 30 years.
Would I be able to, even have a vague guess at what this was?
Oh, yeah, roll a history check.
Yeah, thank you. History. That's 10.
Petrolaeon faced a number of pretenders and uprisings during his unification of the continent. Could be any of them.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
Although, given what you know about the Shaper of Will, it could be all of them.
I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Okay, cool.
What a prick.
Still.
Only a nutter would come up with something like that. Truly unhinged.
So you're so you're fairly certain that you haven't met either of the two that we've got with us?
No. Of your two companions, Victory?
Yeah.
I'd recognise her because, well, like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that she doesn't quite match up, my assumption would be that she's me.
Wouldn't have been an unreasonable thought, but yeah.
And I don't... I don't recognise that Scamp either. I'm taking that you, just from the type of magic you've been doing, that you've got some little spirited companions of your own, though.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I had a few friends like that in my time. Which is how I think I can help you with that.
Go on.
Your magic is not like mine, but what I can do is I can sort of tinker a little with with one of your spirit friends. Not massively, but enough to kind of show them the shape to take to do this.
Is that safe?
I've done it quite a few times before. You're not the first. Like I said, you're not the first set of boon companions to come with a sorcerer. I do give you warning. You're not a cleric, are you?
No.
Well,
would there be a problem if I was?
No, but shit. This is a tricky one to put to you. I apologise if it gets a little depressing.
Mm.
Unless you do some very impressive things and kind of step into each other in a way that I suspect you probably haven't. The changes I make to your spirit friends aren't going to persist beyond you. Because in a sense, what I'm actually doing is I'm slightly changing you and using that to reflect onto them.
Right, so what exactly is it that you're doing here?
I'm gonna... this is it's complex to explain because this is quite instinctual for me to do. But in essence, I'm gonna almost like press into the bit of you that interacts with your spirit friends, the shape of how to do what I do. Now, because you're not me, and because of the way that, because I have to press it onto you like this, I can only do one form of this spell.
Right, so when you say impress, it's like a footprint in sand.
Yeah, a little bit like that. And then that's actually a very good way of putting it. I'm almost like making of you a bit of like a metal cast, and then your spirit friend can pour itself into this cast and take that shape, which in a way, as far as I understand it, is a lot of what's actually happening when you do your spells normally. And it's one of the reasons why they're not going to persist as they are after you.
Corzin goes a little bit distant for a second and then just says, sandcastles.
Aye, sandcastles.
Alright.
If it's any consolation, something like me can't make any more of those either.
Suppose we all have our burdens to bear.
Aye, well, the original has, as it were, come and gone.
I see.
There are ways for them to persist afterwards, but that's the realm of clerics and stuff, and frankly, it's beyond my purview to really talk about.
I can imagine there'd be some clerics who'd be very deeply disturbed by this whole thing. Fortunately, I'm not one of them.
Well, from what I heard, from the conversations I had with the cardinals back in the old days, the high-ranking ones actually know all this.
You don't say.
I think it might be... I get the feeling it's kind of like deeply kept secrets.
Well, I can't say I'm hugely shocked, but what the fuck?
Yeah. There's a... Yeah. So... But depressing as that sort of topic is, I said, like I say, I can do you one version of this. He leans back for a moment and gesture and looks to the empty stone to his left. A swirl of snow picks up around it, and as it passes, you see for a moment this. It's not an image. The snow picks up, and when it passes, there is sat on the stone, swinging her legs, a young halfling girl of maybe 13 or 14, smiling, carefree, and sort of playing with a brightly painted toy that appears to be a cup on a stick with a ball attached to it by a string, valiantly attempting to try and get the damn ball into the cup. It's a timeless and infuriating toy. The clothes are of a much more ancient style, but you have no idea beyond the faintest family resemblance to the old steel-eyed and grey-haired halfling who it might be. Nor does he volunteer any information. Instead, he gestures with his other hand, and in the field beyond, the snows rise up, and as they settle, you could see a cadre of 100 knights in armor, wearing chain, carrying spear and sword and shield, some on horseback, others on foot. You need to make a choice between one or many. And it is a choice. One as carefully rendered as you can remember them, or many with a shade of what they had.
Corzin thinks for a moment and says, I've already had more than I think is my fair share's worth of the ability to interact one-to-one with people I've lost. But maybe the many is what I need right now.
All right. Now, a word of warning for you. With what I can press upon you, you will likely never be able to reach, he gestures to the 100 figures behind him.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think that you could perhaps manage... Right, 1, 2, 4, 8. Yeah. Little over half a dozen. 8, perhaps. You are... or one, but weaker. But, essentially you'll be able to manage one with some fidelity. Or a couple, or 4, or 8, but the more you have, the less accurate the reflection will be.
Right, so much beyond a longbow, it's going to be a struggle.
Aye. Perhaps if you were in the right places and had the right things to aid you, you might be able to double that number. But the power to conjure 100 echoes of souls lost is the province of sorcerers or those who step into their spirits, and vice versa. And I think that, and I sense from you is not a remove exactly, but rather that you are too much of this world to stand between them. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I think it does. But also, most regular folk don't have that many people distinctly that they've lost like that.
That's fair enough. Well, we can focus on learning how to do this. He raises his arms and the snows rise up, covering both the individual figure and the many, and they fall again, with them gone. I think that first we're going to focus on 1, and then we'll work on 2, then 4, then 8.
Alright.
So I think we'll to start with, picture one person you knew well and hold them as closely in your mind as you can. He reaches out.
Corzin closes his eyes and does so.
Across the fire, places a hand on your shoulder, and you feel something pass into and through you, like it feels. There's something almost reminiscent of the sense you get in Primeval Awareness when a kraken, when one of the eyes of the storm is nearby. The sense of the roaring sea. But this time it's like you are the sea, just for a moment, like you're the focus of it. You have a strange sensation that in another path of destiny, in the timeline where you picked up the eye, this might have been how it could have felt.
Ah, okay.
And you picture clearly the person in mind, and you feel the octopus spirit, the ambivalent octopus, sort of reach into and through you as well, guided by the rushing torrent. And the world shift a little. When you open your eyes, who is sat opposite?
Wendell.
Your brother is as you remember him on the morning of that day, of the last day. Much younger than you now.
Yeah.
But he looks up with a twinkle in his eye, and a grin in his cheek. Hello, Corzin.
You're looking good.
Feeling pretty good, all said and done. You got anything to eat? The sorcerer reaches into his coat and pulls out a small string of kind of like more cold cuts than fresh sausages, but
Yep.
gives you passes them out with some sticks for you to start like heating them up over the fire.
Definitely do so.
You can feel that there is a connection between you and Wendell, like the sensation of the magic being held. This is requiring a little concentration to sustain, but your brother but you sit for a companionable moment or two, getting putting the sausages on the sticks, letting them crackle gently on the fire. So, how have you been? Sorry. There we go. There we go. That's it. Wrong part of the wrong halfling accent. There you go.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I don't think I've got enough time to go into all of it, but it is so good to see you again. I
reckon it. We reckon so. It's good to see you, for what it's worth.
You know, it's the craziest thing, but I spent I don't know how long thinking about what I'd say to you if I had the opportunity, and now I can't think of anything. Do you know... Actually, he's gonna think for a second and then say, "You don't happen to know where Dad kept his fishing tackle, do you?"
He thinks for a moment. Now, here's a question: did Corzin at any point ever know where Dad kept the fishing tackle?
I think he would have had a suspicion, but at the one point at which it would have been possible for him to check, he had other things on his mind, like the entirety of his world collapsing.
Yeah.
So,
I love that was the one time he could have checked. This is some closely guarded fucking fishing tackle.
yeah, and it's like I just get the impression that it would be like one of those silly little things that like maybe it would have been something that Wendell would have known that he didn't, but in the moment, that's what he's thinking.
To which Wendell seems to think for a moment and says, I'd say that, yeah, I did know where Dad put the fishing tackle. He grins.
And Corzin chuckles in spite of himself.
I don't think I could rightly tell you where it was, but I'm pretty sure I do know where it is.
No, I'm sure that was something that Dad swore you to secrecy on, and fair play to him.
That seems about right. Truth be told, I miss them both too.
Yeah. Wasn't the same after they went, but at least it was peaceful.
It was a few good years, all said and done.
Yeah. You know, there's also something to be said for... Well, we lost a lot of people. And maybe there's
That's true.
There's an opportunity for them to be with us again, at least in some form.
My heart.
I'm thinking about what Wendell would say here, knowing what he does and knowing what you do.
Yeah, because this is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, does Wendell have all of the knowledge that Corzin has?
To which
It's a bit awful.
No. To which Wendell was going to think for a moment, nibbles a bit on the sausage, puts it back on the fire for a bit more. Well, I suppose, in a sense, that's true, and you do have a chance to say some of the things that you never got to say. But I think that you know, and when it comes down to it, because I'm your brother, it's my job to look out for you. Big brother or not, I'd say that those are probably some good conversations to have. But it's also important to remember that we've already gone on.
Yeah.
And at this stage, the best thing you can do for us is to honor our memories and help whatever of us is left behind.
Every day. Every day.
Well, that's all right then, isn't it? If you're doing that, you're doing the best you can.
Absolutely.
Leastways, I think that's what I think Ma and Pa would have wanted. That's
I'd
what
like
I
to think so. Hey, if you know everything I do...
Well, I certainly
best way
know
to-
whether or not it worked out with Rose Mercer.
Okay, Corzin goes a little bit red.
Is it meter?
Rose Meter.
Yes, Rose Meter, yeah.
Rose Meter.
Yeah. You know, it would have been it would have been hilarious to see what would have happened once you properly got on the dating scene.
I am confident that I would have taken Warwick's watch by storm. No, it's not
Oh
Warwick's.
yeah, you know, you would be the heartbreaker of Warwick's watch.
Yeah. It wasn't Warwick's watch, was it? I've gotten the wrong. I've
Wait.
said the wrong. Barnacle Point. It was Barnacle Point.
Barnacle, what? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, I'm confident that I would have. I'm confident that I would have taken Barnacle Point by storm. Oh, bad choice of
Absolutely.
words.
yeah, and Corzin gets it after a split second, and then
You see a slightly embarrassed grin.
well, they always said that you got the looks, I got the brains.
You did always say that, yeah.
Actually, that's a point. What's the best way to treat a compound fracture?
I gotta say that if I was to treat a compound fracture, the first thing I would do would be to go ask my brother who trained as a surgeon. I can tell you the best bait for fish.
Yep. No, that was always definitely an area in which you excelled. You always thought I'd let you win. I didn't.
I'm pretty sure I actually never thought that, but I wanted you to think that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Corzin wells up slightly.
When he's old enough, this might be a great way for my nephew to find out what his uncle was like.
I really hope that we get a chance to be together as a family.
I do too.
If only for a little while.
Just remember that memories are like stories. They're great for an evening. But you can't live in them.
No, I know that. It's just... It's a lot more different when a memory is sat there staring you in the face, is all.
And burning one side of a sausage, one moment.
Oh, jeez!
Top job on the fire, by the way. Thank you. This kind of comes with the whole magic thing.
Oh, it's burnt on the inside, but... actually, no, it's sort of burnt on the outside, but raw on the inside. The old Barnacle Point special.
It'd be really nice if we had some of those... Oh, you know those fluffy treats they'd make from mashed up pig trotters?
That's the... Yeah,
Yeah,
they went all
marshmallows.
blue.
Yeah.
That's the worst description of a marshmallow. Oh, well done. That's horrendous.
Yep. It's what... I don't even know if they would have existed at that time, but yeah, it's what they would have been
now
made
they
out of.
do, because Jason can make fucking marshmallows in 17 whatever if he wants to.
Oh, he absolutely can, yeah.
I don't think marshmallows, or at least a marshmallow-like substance, would require, like, industrial technology. I think
Not really, no.
It's
No.
basically gelatin, sugar, and puffing it and
you
like
can
puffing it up.
literally like make them in your house, just most people don't because it's a pain and it's faff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
In theory, you can just make marshmallows if you have the stuff.
Yeah. And, who's just got pig trotters hanging around? Pork farmers.
Yeah.
Very specific
And
people
butchers.
for surprisingly normal reasons.
Yeah.
Alright. Anyone for a game of liar's dice?
I think we're going to need some more, I think we're going to need some more people. Oh, what about old Tamwise Wheeler? And... come on. How many of us can, do you think you can manage?
Alright, let's try,
7, 8? We could probably get the old drinking crew together for a proper dice game.
Alright, I'll try, Oswin, Dealey, Wazzer, and Pasha. Right.
Okay. You... Eyes open or eyes closed? Your choice.
I think it would have to be closed. He's having to really, draw on his memory now for people who he knew well, but obviously not as well as Wendell, and create a physical or a mental picture of them in his head.
You close your eyes and you feel... You let go for a moment of Wendell, and you feel... And there's this moment where you kind of... Here you go. Well, I'll see you in a moment.
There is an out-breath.
And then you, over the next minute, you focus on that image of Wendell again, but this time recalling a memory from a time that you and the old crew were in the pub. You picture Wendell, Tammy, Odell, and the rest, and the one whose name I've forgotten.
Wazza and Pasha.
It was Wazza,
Yes.
Pasha. There you go. Thank you.
And
Wazza,
Oswin, yeah.
Pasha, and Oswick. Wazza, Pasha, Oswick, and Wendell. And you kind of
Did you
fix
say
their
lentil?
Wendell. You fix their
Wendell.
images in your mind, and again, with the guidance of Petroleo, allow the octopus spirit to work through you. And when you think, and at the end of the minute, you can kind of feel that connection established. You open your eyes, and this time you can see your three friends, Wazza, Pasha, and Oswick, as well as Wendell, sat around the fire, and Petroleo grins and sort of waves a hand in one direction, and after a little flurry of snow passes, there is a table set up, just a standard wooden table with 6 chairs around it. Wazza kind of gives you a slightly gimleted-eyed look.
Corzin grins at the faces of the people he hasn't.
Out for a game of dice.
That's right, and loser gets him in.
Oh, right then. Yeah, your magic friend's gonna have to bring out the barrels for this one.
That's right, yes.
I've just realised that this is the make Jason make 100 random NPCs spell. And
Yeah,
it's
it
got
is, isn't it?
even better in my head than it already was.
Gobbling West Country squint while you do it is my note for Wazza.
I love him with my whole heart.
Okay, and for my sanity, I'm not going to voice Pasha and Oswick at this particular point.
That's
moment.
totally fair.
But instead, I'll say that you that over the next few hours, you have a game of dice with your brother and 4 long since gone companions, some drinks, some reminiscing about old times. Petroleo quietly guides you to recreate a couple of other figures from your past, trying it in different ways, and
Yeah, there'd probably be people like Reeve and Cho from the first adventuring company he was with.
Yeah.
If it gets to that.
Yeah, there is a brief moment where Reeve, I think it's, again practicing with just the one, Reeve lean. By this point, Petrolane's got the tankards out. She takes a draft from hers, looks down at your weapons, particularly Death and Dishonor, and goes, "They look good on you."
I've been taking good care of them.
Make sure to clean her out. She always sticks.
Yeah, I found
One
that.
of us.
All adds to the character, though.
And after a few hours, you return to eat and drink and rest more, and there is time for another person to step out into the snow. So, Celestia or Scamp, who would like to go next?
Which one's going next? What do you want to do? Do you want to go next, or
I'm
shall I?
still half deciding on what version I'm interested in.
Okay, do you want me to
so
go next to
you
give you a
go
bit longer?
Also, my voice is a little croaky, so
Oh, honey.
you go do it first.
drink some water.
I'm gonna
Take
swig
a
some
minute.
water.
Yeah. Hope it
I'm at
feels
the
better
tail end
soon.
of a cold.
Oh, it's a fucker, isn't it? So am I, but it's not getting me in the voice. I've just got lucky.
Fortunately, Scamp is exhausted.
Yeah, this is true, actually.
Yeah,
Scamp
makes
sounds a
sense.
bit
Real croaky today.
We've all done croaky versions on this podcast in our time, I
Yep.
think. I mean, there was that point when we were in Whitby and we were doing the Underdark arc. And about halfway through, I was like, I think I need to go steam. This is real.
Yeah.
You can, like, hear it. Thankfully, Celestia's really injured in that episode, so it doesn't show. But,
Yeah.
So,
Or right after when I was, like, trying to hold back a cough.
Oh, God, yeah. Bless you.
Petrolaeon nods to you.
By the way, we're not advocating for doing things when we're really ill. We just really like D&D, and if we're well,
Yeah.
if we're well
Fine,
enough,
it's
we
just that
play.
my voice is weird.
Yeah. Like, we were all well enough, it was just...
Oh yeah, no, we're all well. It's just croaky voices. Anyway, carry on.
Petrolaeon nods to you, Celestia.
Hello.
Do you care to come for a walk?
Sure. Yeah, that would be good.
Bundle up. It's a bit chilly out.
Oh, I'll get my coat. Hang on. The
You wrap up
dragon skin coat.
in your
My
flashy
knitted
dragons
mittens
skin coat. Yep, knitted mittens.
from the
a lot.
lady. Yeah.
And the and a different halfling than the one you're used to leads you outside to for a casual walk, a stroll around the bleak fortress, the fortress of solitude, in the midst of the storm. So,
How long have you been here then?
well, apparently a little over 1,000 years.
Shit. Do you feel that? Like, do you get bored? Or does it not work like that?
I mean, it certainly could work like that.
Right.
I would say to you, if you had the ability to just not bother remembering all the boring bits.
In 1,000 years when I was only allowed in one place.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. And I guess you that made you probably wasn't enough of a psychopath to, make you remember all of it.
Yeah, so your two friends are gonna learn this when they... Well, if and when they manage to find wings of their own, or whatever the heck is going on with your scenario.
Yeah, it's weird.
But when you make an echo of yourself, like me, you can to a degree, you slightly have to tinker with, as it were, the base model. With the template. Just because it's actually really, even though we as sorcerers we're operating a lot on instinct, it's fairly involved to just duplicate an entire fucking person.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Honestly. Even if it's you.
Yeah.
Maybe especially if it's you.
Oh, it's actually weirdly easier if it's you.
Right.
Which I think should give you an indication of how fucking hard it would be to accurately duplicate someone else.
So fucking
indefinitely.
hard.
Which, to a degree, is one of the things I'm going to be teaching you.
Right.
So I just want to lay out this expectation now that I can teach you how to create not exactly echoes in the way I am, though something similar. We'll call them echoes, but they're of a different scale, more temporary, of someone you lost. And they are informed by how you remember them.
Right.
And because they're based on your memory of them, they're naturally going to only be as accurate as you can remember them. And you'll be surprised how accurately you can remember people. But the fact is, the magic draws a compromise between the fidelity of the person as you can remember them and the amount of power you can put into rendering that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think it's the same thing, but I do illusions, and weirdly there's a sense there.
Aye.
You can only make as much as you can actually imagine properly.
Sort of combine that with, like, your sketching, like your, I mean, I was a sculptor. I did sculpting rather than painting.
All right.
Hey.
What did you sculpt? People or fruit and stuff, objects? What was your thing?
Animals largely.
Oh.
Used to do a lot of carving just as a wintertime activity.
Ah. Cool.
Yeah. But the point is you can do a lot. It depends on how much time you have. Would be the comparison if you're carving something. You can do a very quick, sort of landscape with little oxen on it and so on, and kind of depict a whole thing like that. Or in the same amount of time, you could do like an ox head in detail. So think of it in that sense. You're always going to be making a compromise.
Yeah, and it's always me that did the carving.
Aye.
Well, I don't know. I feel like you could get 7 people in a line sculpt an apple.
Yeah.
They're not all the same apple, are they? Even though they're all looking at the same apple.
Yeah. So it's going to be affected by their perception and by their skill and so on and so
by
forth.
their, I don't know, their opinions on apples. Maybe they hate apples. Maybe they love them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them's colorblind. I don't fucking know. I'm getting off track, but I get your point.
So I guess the point, to answer your original question, when I made me, which I remember doing, which is a very interesting experience. Weird? Yes. And in a sense, I think I'm quite grateful to me that I kept my ability to feel weirded out by that. Because I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But what I didn't, what I chose not to leave myself with, was the inability to go to sleep for decades when nothing's fucking happening.
Yeah. You didn't leave yourself with the normal person amount of ability to go mad in 1,000 years in the same place. That was kind of you, actually.
It really depends on, Here's the thing. We're all a little insane by most people's standards.
I mean, I'm not... I'm not judging.
Oh, I assume not. He kind of without a hint of shade in his expression, just gestures to your whole appearance.
I'd be yeah, rainbow hair, rainbow eyes, all the weird veins, all the weird clothes, finger puppets sticking out of a pocket.
Oh, that's amazing.
Needless number of instruments. It's just
I...
And so she just kind of goes, yeah, fair. Actually, yeah, no, that's. Yeah, I'm not even insulted. That's actually just factual. Yeah.
I would. I understand from the magic you've been doing that you've got one or more spirits?
Sort of one. There used to be more, and they kind of amalgamated, and then we kind of amalgamated.
Right, so
Didn't we?
So you stepped into them, and they've stepped into you.
Yes.
That's about what I thought.
Is that bad?
No. I don't know if it's good, exactly. It just is.
Alright. Rainbow Spirit is like sort of circling quizzically round him, like right up near his face, just like having a look, like a little puppy.
Seems to be completely incapable of perceiving the Rainbow Spirit.
Rainbow Spirit boops his nose.
It's like a wrinkle from there, as if he can feel like just a little tinge of magic.
Stop it! It's a very solemn occasion. Sorry.
You're not sorry in the slightest, but that's
not
right.
even slightly. It was very funny.
Yeah.
I had companions a little like you in my time.
Really? So I've not met many people like me. Were they like runaway clerics or something? Was that a similar thing?
Not exactly. The companion... Well, the companion that I was closest to was a little like you. Not quite the same. They were there's a dwarven skald. One who knew the old lore and spoke the old stories.
I've met a skald before. Didn't like them much. Only one, though. I'm sure there are some lovely ones.
They vary, as people do.
Oh, yeah, like anyone else does, I'm sure.
And they too had spirits at first and one in time. And they stepped into that spirit, and that spirit stepped into them.
I've never heard of anyone else doing that. No, I'm not doubting you. It's just kind of
rare.
It's just kind of cool to hear that it's not just me and this one being weird.
Hey, says the Rainbow Spirit, chuckling.
I love you. It's good weird. Promise.
Love you too. Well, I can think of a few reasons. First of all, it's rare. It's hard to happen. You need to have been strange places, done great things, and walked paths of power and peril that tie you together.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Especially if you have passed through places of great power, touched any essence of what they would call true miracle in your time as well, that would make it more likely.
So what you're saying is this is the monkey's fault.
Yes.
I'm never telling him. I'm never going to tell him. Never telling him. Yeah, I'm assuming you were way before Brannigan's Blade, right? Surely.
Think about that. Haven't heard of it.
It's a magic knife. We were about to die, and then the monkey raised it in the air and made some sounds. And then we were in Fairnon, and I got a new cat. That is the shortest and least harrowing way of telling that story. But yeah, that's what happened.
Right.
Yeah. And we sort of teleported there.
Tell her what?
We were in. Oh my god, Sunder.
Yeah.
That was Ellie's. Oh my god, I just couldn't remember the fucking word for Sunder. We're in Sunder.
Aye.
And then the monkey raised the knife and made some sounds, and we were in Fairnon.
So you were what, like carried there by a storm?
No. The gap that you're picturing in the middle, where like there's travel. No.
That's
like a hole in the world that you step through. It's new, I believe. Scamp's thing.
That's not how
I know.
magic works.
You're a sorcerer.
Yes, I know.
No, but I mean you're a sorcerer. You know that you can do things that don't make any sense.
That's not a thing that any of us can do.
With respect, darling, you've been here for 1,000 years, haven't you?
I mean, yes, but I do, talk to the other ones when they pass through.
Couldn't the giants do it? They had circles for it. Big stone circle things. But Scamp can do it without.
Okay, so there are ways, and I assume that you might have travelled one of them to get here, because there are ways to go from one continent to another, but they're not instant. There are sort of hidden pathways in the world, or ways to travel. There's a dangerous way that requires passing through the realm of dreams.
Yeah, we're acquainted. We've done that a lot.
There's strange hidden passages that lead you into secret places like this, like the Citadel. There's one that's just like a city full of fucking nightmarish.
Yep, been there too.
So that's how you got here.
No. Oh, this one. Shit, how did we get here? I'm so sorry.
Technically,
out of character.
did sort of end up going through the City of Golden Law, but it wasn't directly, and it was a complex series that
roundabout sort of a way.
In a roundabout sort of a way, yes, that's how we got here.
But
and apparently one can't teleport from here to Calcinea. Apparently that wouldn't work. But you can teleport on Calcinea. Poof! Oh, I'm in Fernon. Poof! Oh, I'm in fucking Soul. This is stupid. Why am I explaining it like this? That doesn't explain anything.
It doesn't, and that's also bewildering. And
well, I guess you should ask Scamp about it later. They can they know what it feels like better than I do. I just experience it.
Right.
They
and this
do
whole
it.
thing you're saying about giants in circles able to do this. This is the first I've heard of it.
Right. Well, that's what as far as we've got on if anyone could do it before Scamp. Were there any giant sorcerers?
To my knowledge, there was one giant sorcerer.
Right. Fuck. That would make sense.
And that would be...
Why have we never thought of that before? I hate us.
That would be Thea.
Thea.
The Radiant.
Oh, that's not right, is it? Bollocks. Thought I was getting somewhere there.
But, I mean, she's got a wing at the centre of the Citadel.
Yeah. Oh, Thea's the one in the middle. I'm getting her mixed up with someone. So Thea's like the maker of the thing. Out of character, have we been to Thea?
You have not been to Thea. You have not reached the centre of the Citadel.
I think I mixed her up with somebody else. Yeah. No, I'm getting her mixed up. We haven't met Thea yet. We got told to go to Thea.
You might be thinking of the morning of the dawn, Hyperion, because I said Radiant.
You know what? That's what it is. I'm still a bit tired. I've got Radiant, Dawn. You see what happened?
No, I absolutely get it.
Different thing though. We were told to go and see Thea because something weird's going on with Scamp apparently.
I mean, that would be my advice then, because if anyone knows more, if anyone would be likely to know about that would be her.
Can I ask you something?
By all means, I can't promise I'll tell you, but you can ask.
Oh, you don't. I mean, obviously don't if you don't want to. Did you? It's a sorcerer question.
Hmm.
Did you ever have a point where you were struggling with how powerful you were, or you were scared of it, or it was too much, or like was that like a phase that you went through? You don't have to like tell me about it. I realize we don't know each other and that's deeply personal, but was this an experience that you had?
Aye.
What would you have wanted from a friend or a family member during that time? What would have helped?
I mean, that's a tricky one to answer, because when I was having that, I was basically trying to fight I was also fighting to defend my homeland, and to make sure that my marriage, which was admittedly political in nature, but fortunately to someone who I grew to love and care for, was not me being put under the thumb of someone else, having recently essentially been elevated to nobility.
Who was that?
That was my father-in-law.
Oh, sorry.
Moncarf of Stone. But he, frankly, was a bit of a piece of work at times, but a canny sort of operator. Because bear in mind, half the barons, half their lairds at the time were trying to kill me, and the other half were trying to control me.
You had a lot on.
And we also had like some actual invasions going on as well. So, I realise this is a difficult thing to believe, but I did not set out to conquer a continent.
Weirdly it isn't, actually.
I set out trying to essentially defend defend my small corner of the world and not get killed or made into a puppet. And I succeeded in that, but it all sort of exploded outwards a little bit.
I didn't set out to start a revolution, said the sorcerer as they started a revolution.
More than once.
But as I think you have clearly shown by your actions, however you start out, you hit a point where you have power, and then you see wrongs or needs.
Yeah.
Or, you're just under fucking attack. And it sort of explodes outwards from there. But
because you give a shit.
Aye. And a lot of the time you don't have a fucking choice, and then when you do have a choice, actually, depending on who you are, you'll find that you actually don't have a choice.
No.
And that leaves you still you.
Yeah, it's funny. With what your magic's like, it doesn't make any sense, but just talking to you, not that far off, Scamp.
We're in the centre of the storm right now, and things are calm there. And the sea can be calm, and the sea can be rough. The fact is, none of you are a target of my ire. And unfortunately, I ruled as wisely and as justly as I could. I was not always kind.
That's different.
In fact, I would say that with some of those who I perceived as doing wrong. I was decidedly not kind. And I can't, and I won't bother telling you who they were, because you'll never find any mention of them again. And the world is better off that way. Just a little rumble of thunder in the background.
I don't know you or the situation well enough to comment.
Like I said, sometimes the sea's rough, sometimes it's calm. But there's a reason why I say there's more in common between me and your friend Victory.
No, I see it. Makes sense. Wasn't saying you weren't like Victory, by the way.
Oh, no, I just...
There's also stuff in common.
People are people. We are many-faceted things.
Yeah.
You were asking before about my companion, the Skald.
Yeah. Yeah, if you
No.
tell me that.
They stepped into their spirit, a thing of stories. A thing of stories and histories. And it into them. And they became one and the same. And they lived a long life together. And that life came to its end, as I understand it, from my final conversations with myself after I was created, but before I died. And they had a choice of sorts of whether to leave a legacy in the form of their spirit to others, or to pass from the world and for the spirit to pass with them.
Fuck. I don't think I'd thought about that. I look at the rainbow spirit. We should talk about that.
I don't know. Maybe that feels a...
We don't have to talk about it right now, but like we're in hazardous situations like all the time. We should talk about what you want and what we want.
I mean, maybe we need to think about that. That's...
Have a think.
I don't even know what that involves.
That's true. We don't know what that involves.
Petrolian, you can hear
Sorry,
your half of the
I
conversation.
realize sometimes I do this and I forget.
That's alright. I can kind of guess what the other side's saying from what you're saying.
I can do an illusion and have them join if you
don't
want.
worry. I get the feeling from what you said that you've got a bit of an aversion to clerics.
Yeah. Yep. You feel deeply unsettled. Nearly
if
was
you
one.
want your spirit to persist after you, it's the only way I know of.
What? Go to a cleric and get them to do that?
More accurately, there's no easy... The simplest way to put this would be found a church around yourself.
Become a god.
Fuck that.
To put it another way...
No. Start a cult. Do it. The Celestia cult. I want it.
You are... Your spirit is shaping you. And you are shaping it.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
As you are now, And as you carry, and the path you are approaching the pinnacle of, you are now inseparable.
Mm-hmm.
When you die, and unless you somehow find a way to cheat death, which is statistically pretty fucking unlikely.
But it can happen.
No. To my knowledge, it's...
You're a sorcerer, I had to ask.
Well, if you find the Grail, maybe.
No.
It is actually on
It's
the
on the
list.
to-do list.
Believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Petrileone. Sorry, I just had a sort of out-of-body experience for a second there.
Oh, it's... No. The best of luck to you. I crusaded for the damn thing for a good decade or so, and I never found it.
Any tips? I mean, no, because you didn't find it, I suppose.
It's not on Jova.
That's a tip! You know, that's fucking... Actually, we know where it is, don't we? Yeah. Yeah, we know where it probably is. I feel like a vein just like juts out in Celestia's forehead. Sorry, I just occasionally I remember like our lives, and I just
Oh, don't worry. I've had those moments. I've had a lifetime full of those moments.
Yeah. Do you want a whiskey? I've got some.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I can still taste the stuff. So
Pour us some whiskey.
happily takes a dram of it, a wee dram for
Pull
himself.
up a little pipe of tobacco and sip whiskey.
You've kind of been walking along, but he leads you to actually the same campfire as before and snaps his fingers and lights it. It's gone out this time. Takes a seat.
Sorry, I've just got like a sudden sort of stress headache that's happened. I'm clearly doing really well. Really well.
My companion felt the same way. And felt the same way about starting a cult, frankly. They didn't want
what it would take.
You need people. Here's the thing, like I said, you're shaping them, they're shaping you. When you die, unless you somehow get the Grail and become immortal, or unless you die and come back, which does happen very occasionally, but that is, as it were, delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a guarantee, is it? Having done it a couple of times, it's really not a guarantee, because the person would come with you.
Then...
Or that you'd find them. Ooh, nasty business.
Aye. Well, when that day comes, your spirit can retain that imprint of you for a time. Not a long time. But if you have a group of people with the sight who have come to know it, who have walked with it and with you, who know it well enough to see it and remember it, who've learned your tales, who have cast magic with its guidance and with yours, they will be able to help it keep its shape after you're gone. And it will persist.
It wouldn't involve separating while I was still alive. It wouldn't change the connection.
You are at this point all but one and the same.
I mean, I look at the Rainbow Spirit. I feel like you're as connected to me as like my blood is, right?
I mean, that's pretty much what I was going to say.
And it's the same with you, right?
Yeah, like you're like my colours. Literally.
No.
Same. Actually.
Celestia cult. Celestia cult.
I feel like this whole time, if the spirit was a person, I would be holding its hand. So I feel like what's probably happening is that it's just sort of like snaking around an arm and like over the shoulders. And we're just sort of like entwined.
And as it occasionally does, for a moment, it actually seems to form into like a shadow, like a sort of multicolored shadow mirror version of you, gripping your arm before.
Look it in the eye.
Before draping back around you again.
I'm glad that can't change.
But that is the only way I know of for that part of you to survive beyond your death. The other part crosses a line or a gap or a bridge
Or a river.
from which
Or a
there is no
chasm.
turning back. Once the gap is crossed, it can never be uncrossed.
Yeah, that tracks. Scary thing. Ooh.
What I'm going to teach you to do is much simpler than that, though.
Good. Bit tired to pop over to the abyss and grab someone, to be honest. It's not the easiest thing.
No. Instead, what I'm going to teach you to do is more like make a sort of copy of someone from your memories. They won't last for usually more than an hour, and you'll need to maintain the connection. Thinking about, in essence, you're essentially using your spirit to kind of fill a them-shaped mold,
Right.
for want of a better term.
Like jelly.
Yeah, or like pouring hot tin into a wax cast.
I feel like we came at that from different genres and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
You're different from my friend, but I appreciate that. But there is elements of your sense of humour that overlap.
Would you be comfortable telling me a name? If not, it's okay. I just wondered if I could look. Inkleaf?
They preferred. That was the name they went by. Inkleaf.
Then that's their name.
And well, there'll be records of them in the Red Folder clan.
Oh, that lot. Okay. Just curiosity. Haven't really met one of me before. Not that I've beat them, but gods, being able to look somebody up is something, isn't it?
Had they chosen to maintain, he grimaces a little, followers, you might have been able to meet Inkleaf's spirit. If, as it were, that church had persisted. But we cannot know how those things would have gone.
No.
However,
We would have been lonely.
aye. Or maybe not. After all, There'd always be a group there to keep you company. Gestures, and a flurry of snow raises up and falls, and you can see a aged looking femme looking dwarf with their beard tucked into a single ring of worn printed leather. They are wearing stained traveler's robes with cases, or with scroll cases, just sort of like tied to shoulder bags. And the way they're sat, they have a book and a pen, ink-stained fingers with a sort of almost like parchment-like textured skin. And their eyes are... The irises, it's almost impossible to tell where iris and pupil begin and end, because the irises of their eyes are black. Their lips too are black in what you think is at first is lipstick, but it's as if but actually seem more reminiscent of ink.
Oh, I like that tattooed.
Just something about them reads to you as ink and paper. And you can almost... You hear a gentle sort of crinkling and creaking as they move. And you see them studying you and sketching in their book.
Hello.
Whoa.
Celestia Stardust, nice to meet you.
Sure it is.
Inkleaf, I presume.
Can call them all that. She looks to one side, snorts at something, looks back at you. You can't see a spirit.
Of course
there
I
is
can't.
none, but she reacts as if to one.
What does yours look like? If you don't mind me asking, if you'd rather not say, that's okay.
Written word.
Ooh.
The smell of paper.
Huh.
And just the moment when you've got a new book and you're about to open the cover and start reading. She looks at you with a sharp look, like she's looking through you. I'd guess colours. Not, but freedom. So it's something wild. Lots of movement. Music?
Yes. Well guessed. Do you want to see?
She nods. Once.
I'm effectively going to cast Major Image, but just use it to make the Rainbow Spirit visible to other people, if that's allowed.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
I mean, you can move it, and
in essence, the Rainbow Spirit just lights
I let
up
it
with
talk
visible
and
light.
yeah, it's currently like wound round my shoulders and fucking about. I'm probably going over to her and like having a look the way it does, like slightly too close. Actually, them wasn't it?
She there. So
She
like,
there.
right.
Cool. Going over to her and just like, you know, looking at their face and like ruffling bits of hair and stuff.
She seems like a little annoyed by the ruffling, but gives it a dry smirk and
Bothering people again.
So they glance over to Petrolea and he says, I mean, I remember you doing this trick, so I suppose so. She makes a few sharp motions in with her pen in the book, drawing out some sort of complex little pattern. And you see around her, not like weaving through the air in the way of the rainbow spirit, but you see tracing over her skin are just paragraphs and paragraphs of text, moving, swirling in place. The scent of paper and old books becomes stronger around her.
Ooh.
And it's as if, and there's almost like an aura where when you look at her, you can almost see just behind her at all times the sense of a library, or the sense of stacks and tomes of knowledge. Not in a way that you can almost clearly... You can't even be sure of the exact details, but there's just
It's
a
like,
sense
no.
that... Yeah, there's a strange sense that that wherever she goes, the library follows.
Oh, fun. I know, it made me think about what the rainbow spirit would smell like. I think it smells like ozone, like a thunderstorm. I think that would come on with the illusion. And I think there's a lot of ambient music as it's fucking about that Celestia doesn't even really think about, but it's often like, you know when you've just twanged a guitar string and you get that like really long note and it makes your ears buzz?
Yeah.
If you're spicy, possibly not for other people. But yeah, makes your ears buzz and you kind of feel it in the rest of you a bit. Feel it in your ankles if it's really good music. It's a bit like that, I think. Oh, yours is different. Very different. Sorry, I've never met anyone like me. That's intertwined.
I never met anyone who walked as far as I did. They didn't make it as far as I did.
That makes sense.
She glances at Petrolea and he gives a wry smirk and looks back at you. We had other companions, including a couple of others who walked the paths of magic. 3 if you count the wizard. One of them was like me, like us. Didn't live to see the day. The other... Oh... Where did they end up? Bishop? Made cardinal by the end. Who knows?
Bloody hell.
Maybe after you died, they could have made it all the way to Holy Mother.
Who were they?
There's a little bit of a grin. You can look... I'm sure you can find that one in a history book.
Okay.
But they were, by the end, the Cardinal of Stone. And they preferred to go by Cardinal Stone, as was their form of address.
Cardinal Stone. Okay.
Because for some reason, Pepe wasn't good enough for them anymore.
I'm not confident I'd keep Pepe. Cardinal Pepe of Stone. Yeah, it's just not as fucking impressive, is it? Really funny though. But I'm not about to judge anyone for changing their name, so you know. Hokey McFake name over here.
You know
Nah,
when
it's
they,
my real name now.
you know when they, when you become the Holy Mother, you actually officially get to change your name.
Ah, shit. I mean, I've got papers.
Maybe that's what
Also-
that's what Pepe was aiming for all those years.
Also, who cares what it says on fucking paper? It's irrelevant.
Inkleaf shoots you a look.
That was probably a really big insult. I meant specifically identification papers, not just paper generally.
Yeah, you don't get your knickers in a twist.
My knickers are perfectly untwisted, thank you very much.
Words
Leave my
matter.
knickers alone.
What's written down matters. Because when we write things down, and when people read those things, we have sworn an oath with our words, a pact sealed in writing, that we are communicating truth, and anyone who breaks that promise is doing a disservice to history and the world. Okay, yeah, she was always like this. She just
I think a lot of people were probably doing a disservice to history and the world with that in mind, unfortunately. I'm not saying I disagree, I'm just saying it probably happens a lot.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There were some libraries that needed burning to the... Okay,
Wow.
Okay, well, we are just we're gonna table this for now.
We're on book burning, are we? Cool. Yeah.
She was very she was very particular that about truth and like facts being accurate, and I can speak for myself. I only wanted to burn the books with lies in. Yes, the problem, Inkleaf, is that they tend to keep them next to the books that are the truth in. Well,
Also,
that's
what if the
you
book
need.
has both in? What did you just rip out specific pages and burn them?
That's why a good librarian should always have 3 things: a pen and ink, a sharp knife,
Wow.
and a torch.
This took a turn, if I'm honest. Yeah, I wasn't quite ready for this.
Okay, so you
Cool.
remember what I said before about us all being crazy?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I can't say that we're less so. It's just different.
I am not crazy.
Yes, you
at this
are.
Point,
It's fine.
Petrolaire like gestures, and the flurry of snow passes over Inkleaf, and when it vanishes,
Right.
they're gone.
I like them.
Yeah, I like them too.
They're a fucking pain, but so am I. So...
I got that feeling too.
Oh, thanks. That's really nice of you. Appreciate the vote of confidence. Blows a smoke ring.
I can teach you how to do one or many. One as accurately as you can manage to put them together. Or a company, but more shallowly recalled, not in the full depths of everything they could have been. As one who's stepped into their spirit, you might in time be able to conjure as many as 100.
That'll be useful.
But because you're, frankly, not me, I can't teach you to do both.
1.
So be it. Come. We'll take a walk, and I'll ask you to remember some of the people that you'd want to be walking with. And we'll see where that takes us.
Right. Let's get started.
He takes your hand. You stand and walk. And you feel, as you walk and begin to picture, a rush pass through you. Distinct from, but eerily reminiscent of the connection to the Eye of the Storm.
I let go of his hand. What is that? What are you doing? I stop it as soon as it feels like the eye.
That is me.
Yes? What does this entail? I've felt something like that before, and it did not go well, and I said that I wouldn't do anything like that again. Because it was really bad. So...
My magic is very instinctual, as is the way of all sorcerers. The only way for me to teach you is to show you by, in effect, I can almost casting the spell through you.
So you sort of connect to me and do it through me, and then because you've done that, I know how to do it.
Let's imagine that I'm... trying to think of a good way to do this. It's like, imagine someone, you're trying to... Snap his fingers. You're trying to stand on one leg for the first time.
Yeah.
In like a particular pose, and you need to get your balance right.
Yeah.
Imagine that I am there when you stand on your one leg, giving you a little, holding you in place a little bit, tweaking how your legs are positioned, how your arms are positioned, so you can get the balance right.
Right.
And then once you've done it a few times with me supporting you, you'll be able to remember how to do it in future.
Okay, that's not too frightening. Cool. Sorry, had a really bad time with something that felt like that recently. Yeah. Look at the Rainbow Spirit. You cool with this?
I'm if you are.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's give it a try.
Okay.
Take his hand again.
And a little more tentatively, with like a trickle at first and then a rush, you feel the ocean course through you. The quality of it is...
So still, seems a bit panicky, honestly. Lets it happen, but it's, on edge.
The quality is different. It's less like the tides of the deep ocean, and more like the surface. More thrashing in places, calmer in others. Moving, roiling, but without the sense of being dragged under and below.
As this becomes apparent, she kind of calms down a bit. Okay, that's different. Good.
Alright. Now, focus on who you'd like to walk with, and let's take a walk. And as you step forwards, begin to just for actually ask you, who would you imagine?
Me, Ellie, from the Avant-Garde.
Eyes open or eyes closed while you do this?
I think they'd have to be closed. Because... interestingly, I have an instinct. Do you mind if we sit for a second rather than have a walk?
Of course.
I think it'll help. And I sit, we had that bit in the Dreamfold, where They were like sat on the floor with their little like oversized breastplates on like next to each other in the barracks, and I think she like sits in that position to kind of get the feeling right. And I think there would be a like closed eyes and like a sort of hand on someone's shoulder to picture.
You hold merely in your mind, and feeling the sea kind of guide you, you let the rainbow spirit flow through it in the shape that it's guiding, and you feel the rainbow spirit's power pass through your hand, and it's subtle at first, like the scent, just this touch of magic. But by the end of a minute or so of focus, you can feel a steel sort of plate, breastplate pauldron under your fingers. You open your eyes, and there is the younger drow woman, white hair, sort of braided back behind her.
It was short.
Sorry, short. Okay, short white hair tucked behind her ears.
Adorable.
Very, very cute. Slight sadness to the eyes, but a smile.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, fuck me. Can you forgive me?
You don't have to. That's an awful question to open with.
Probably, but I mean, I know what I'd say. I really do, but and so do you. I just want to know, can you forgive yourself?
Not so far.
But one day?
I don't know. You deserved so much better. I'm so sorry. I don't have words for how sorry I am. They got in my head, and it's not an excuse.
Well, she swallows.
Shouldn't have turned you in. I was just really scared. And it was... thought it might be me or you, and I should have picked me. That would have been the better thing to do.
I can accept that. I think that if I'm honest, it would have chewed me up eventually.
Oh, you're right.
You were in the wrong place.
I think I got as far as I did because we were friends.
Ooh.
And I think that if we hadn't been, I probably would have died sooner.
Ooh. It's kind of fucked up that you're saying this, because it means somewhere I think it, and that's really shit. I always felt like you kept me going, if that helps.
I know.
I think I would have, well, actually, no, I know what I would have been like there without you. I was a fucking mess, me. I really was. I was a lot less sane when you were gone. For a long time.
Sounds like you managed to find that better life on the surface after all.
Yeah, I'm sorry you couldn't come. To be fair, I don't know if you'd have wanted the surface. You wanted a bat farm. They don't really have those up here. You'd have been so happy. Nice cave, a lot of bats. That would have done you, wouldn't it?
We came because we didn't have anything else. That's what brought us all in.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever became of us by the time we came out, we went in because we wanted a future, and we didn't see one.
So unfair. It's fucking ludicrously unfair. The people without fucking social standing or families to help, or families who were disgraced or whatever in that stupid system, they went into the Ebengard for a chance at a future. But so many of you didn't get one. You deserved one. You were like the sweetest person I've ever met in my life. And you were promised one. I've been sad about it before. I've grieved. I still do. And I felt guilty. I don't think I've ever thought to be fucking angry for you. I'm sorry.
I know that I'm gone, and that in a sense you're talking to a mirror right now.
I suppose so.
But I know how I feel.
I suppose we knew each other pretty well.
We did. We were all screwed up by... We were all screwed up by the Evangard. And we were screwed up by Ariadnea before that. We've been screwed up our whole lives. Every lightless day of them. We were born into a system that ground everyone down.
Yeah.
From the top to the bottom.
Those at the bottom had it particularly bad. Not just the people enslaved, I mean people like you, the drow at the bottom of that system. That too. Fuck, I was at the top and I'm a fucking mess.
I can't ask this because I'm gone. But I think you think that I would ask this. The rest of our class, everyone, our company, the rest of the Ebon Guard, I don't know what they're like now, but they were all people like me once.
Yeah.
get them a future.
Oh, fuck. I will do my best, okay? I will try.
I don't know if what we went through has to mean anything.
I hope it does.
But I'd like to know that it doesn't just end in death for us all. Not, or at least not pointless death. That we somehow find that when this is all over, I'm never going to get my bat farm. But maybe we get out of this and we end up somewhere where it's not everyone trampling on everyone else to try and stay at the top. Maybe there's... I just want a future where we get to live.
That doesn't seem like too much to ask. I will do what I can.
Hey, Utu's fallen. You might be invested in that, actually. Not fallen, I mean, like, forcibly fallen. Knocked over? What's the term? It's fucked. It's fucked. We burnt it, and then other people went in and had another bash. So, there's a start. Yeah,
God, I don't know if I feel good or bad about that. Like, kind of both? Like, I mean...
Sabrina's dead.
Oh, I feel great about that. That's fantastic news.
Yeah, it was really hard. She wouldn't fucking die. It was awful. She really wouldn't, though, right? Like,
it was a ball out.
Oh God! But no, she really wouldn't die.
I appreciate that I'm dead and I've kind of existed in a sense for like 10 minutes, but that's the best news I've heard all day. Wait, wasn't she your aunt?
Yeah. Yep. Auntie Sabrina.
Is it okay that I still feel good about that?
I feel amazing about it.
Great.
Hey, I nicked Quellena's whip. That might be nice to know.
Great. Two good pieces
Not less
of news.
pain for a lot of people.
That's something.
Yeah.
I miss you.
I know.
You were my first friend, really. I never told anyone everything before you.
I wish we'd had more time.
Me too. I wish we'd had time to be friends, like, normally, you know? Like, I wish we could go to the fucking pub, or... I don't know. Get fucking hot chocolate at a market, or, like, normal friend shit, you know? I wish we got to do that stuff. It's so stupid, really.
Hot chocolate.
Oh shit, you don't even know what chocolate is, probably, do you?
I think I probably knew what chocolate was, but I don't think I don't... Well, I certainly never told you I'd ever had it.
Would you like some?
Sure. I'd love some.
I'll make some.
I probably make her a cup of tea and make it taste like hot chocolate. Because Scamp's got the chocolate. It's not quite hot chocolate, but it's the closest I can do.
She picks it up.
Got a bit better at magic since you knew me.
Sip. It's good.
It's bloody
Sweet.
good.
Hot. I would have loved this.
You would. Love sweets. We never had any. But we always wanted some.
I'm so sorry for everything. Every single thing. Except being friends with you.
Well,
I'm sorry it made you a target, though. That wasn't fair.
Well, I certainly don't forgive you for being my friend.
Good. I wouldn't want you to.
And maybe, when you're ready, I'll forgive you for the rest. But I don't think you are right now.
No, I'm not.
I think I'd have to be a bit more okay generally for that to even be on the horizon. But kind of tap the side of my head. It's been kind of bad in here lately, to be honest, me. You understand?
I do. Well, we've got most of an hour. Tell me some good things.
Okay.
And over the next hour, you talk a little bit about
I show her the
life.
spirit. I tell her, like, nicer days that we've had, you know.
At the end of the hour, as you kind of feel your connection wane, she sets the cup, the empty cup, down to one side, smiles. Farewell, my friend. I will be here when you need me.
Thanks. I'll miss you.
I know. You feel this. You release the spell, and for a moment, it's like she's. It's like she's highlighted in moonlight that isn't coming from any source. The colours fade, and it's just the sort of reflected light on her, and that fades too. A small mist of tea settles on the log. You feel the sort of little wisps of the rainbow spirit that were connected to her pull back into
round Celestia's shoulders. Petroleone, I guess.
Thank you for teaching me to do that.
Memory is a powerful and dangerous thing.
Yeah, sorry,
It's probably a lot as a bystander.
Sorry.
I have more than my fair share of demons.
Yeah, I'd imagine you do.
We'll do it a few more times for practice, but I might suggest someone lighter.
I don't think I could do that again, to be honest.
Alright, who's lighter?
You've
Captain Brand is the person I thought of, but I don't know. I mean, he would be lighter in the way that Celestia remembers him.
This is good, because the person that came to my mind was Gautier Bonchance, and that is not lighter.
Now I'm tempted, but absolutely not who Celestia would think of. And if she did, she'd be like, fuck no.
But yes, over the next few hours, you conjure up lighter memories of people.
Probably a few Charlie's Regret crew members. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like that elf I fucked once. like just a few people who like have either like moved on, but I wasn't, like, are dead, but I wasn't that close to, or people I met in passing and probably won't see again.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, it's not, they're not heavy loss, but I feel like it has to be, you specified it has to be someone you can't reach. Yeah. So I feel like actually somebody who you thought was kind of cool but you met in passing could actually work.
Yeah. That would work.
But like, you have no real way or intention of seeing them again.
Yeah.
When we're just practicing, it gets lighter. Yeah.
Yeah. And over the next few hours, you learn the spell. And as for the third member of our party, speaking with Petrolane, that is something we will touch on next time on Flintlocks and Fireballs. Because we've actually gone for a fair amount of time. So for now, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for listening. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s. The fight for justice always costs the power that finds its roots in loss. But storms all pass, and when it's calm, may memory provide some balm.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.